When Daniel married Sophia, he believed he had found his forever, a loving wife, a promising career, and a stable family. But nothing prepared him for the storm that came in the form of his mother-in-law, Evelyn Calloway. Evelyn was the kind of woman who commanded attention without effort. In her early 50s, she carried herself with an elegance that could rival women half her age. Her presence was intoxicating, her confidence overwhelming. At first, Daniel admired her in the way a son-in-law should. But soon admiration blurred into unease. It started with little things. Evelyn's lingering touches, her unwavering eye contact, her playful comments laced with double meanings. Daniel brushed them off, convincing himself it was harmless. But as the months went by, the subtlety faded, and her intentions became clearer. One evening, after Sophia had gone to bed early with a migraine, Evelyn poured Daniel a glass of wine and sat beside him on the couch, closer than necessary. "I see the way you look at me," she whispered, her fingers trailing along the rim of her glass. "You don't have to pretend." Daniel's throat tightened. "Mrs. Calloway, I think you." She chuckled, cutting him off. "Oh, Daniel, don't be so formal. Call me Evelyn." He shifted in his seat, every nerve in his body screaming at him to put distance between them. "I love Sophia." "Of course you do." Evelyn smiled, swirling her wine. "But love doesn't erase attraction, does it?" Daniel clenched his jaw. This was a line that should never be crossed. He stood abruptly. "I think I should go to bed." Evelyn leaned back against the couch, watching him with a knowing smile. Some temptations don't just disappear. They linger. They wait. Daniel turned away, his heart pounding. This is going to be a problem. After that night, Evelyn's advances became bolder. She found excuses to be alone with him, calling him for help around the house, insisting on private conversations, brushing against him in ways that were far from accidental. One afternoon, while Sophia was at work, Evelyn asked Daniel to fix a leaky faucet in her bathroom. He hesitated but didn't want to be rude. As he tightened the valve, she stood behind him, close enough for him to feel her breath on his neck. "You're good with your hands," she murmured. Daniel straightened, putting distance between them. "It's just basic maintenance." Evelyn smiled, stepping forward again. "You're such a good man, Daniel. But tell me something." Her fingers lightly grazed his arm. "Are you loyal because you love Sophia, or because you're afraid?" Daniel exhaled sharply, stepping back. "I don't know what game you're playing, but it needs to stop." Evelyn's smile never faltered. "Are you sure?" "Positive." She let out a soft laugh. "We'll see." Daniel tried to avoid Evelyn, but she was persistent. Sophia remained blissfully unaware, trusting her mother completely. Daniel didn't want to be the one to shatter that trust. But the situation reached a boiling point one evening at a family gathering. As they sat around the dinner table, Evelyn played the perfect hostess, serving food, laughing at jokes. But under the table, her foot slid up Daniel's leg. He nearly choked on his drink, his eyes darting to her. She merely smiled, her gaze challenging. Enough was enough. After dinner, Daniel found Evelyn alone in the kitchen. "We need to talk," he said firmly. She turned to him, feigning innocence. "About what?" "You know exactly what. This," he gestured between them, "ends now." Evelyn took a step forward. "And if I don't want it to, I'll tell Sophia." For the first time, a flicker of something unreadable crossed Evelyn's face. Then she smirked. "Do you think she'll believe you over her own mother?" Daniel's stomach twisted. "I don't want to hurt her, but I won't let you manipulate me." Evelyn studied him for a moment, then sighed. "Fine. If that's what you want." But something about the way she said it sent a chill down his spine. Days passed, and Evelyn seemed to have backed off. Daniel felt relieved, believing he had finally put an end to it. But then the real nightmare began. Sophia came home one evening, her face pale. "We need to talk." Daniel's heart pounded. "What's wrong?" She held up her phone. My mother told me everything. His blood ran cold. What? She said you've been making her uncomfortable, that you've been pursuing her. Daniel staggered back. That's a lie. Sophia's eyes filled with confusion and pain. I want to believe you, but why would my mother lie? She's manipulating you. Tears welled in her eyes. I don't know what to think, Daniel. Evelyn had turned the tables. She had poisoned Sophia against him before he had the chance to expose her. Daniel refused to let Evelyn win. He spent the next few days gathering proof. Texts, recorded conversations, anything that could reveal the truth. When he finally confronted Sophia with the evidence, she broke down. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I should have trusted you. Daniel held her close, but his relief was short-lived. Evelyn wasn't the type to accept defeat. She disappeared from their lives for a while, but the damage was done. The trust between Daniel and Sophia had been tested in a way that left scars. Even years later, Daniel still felt Evelyn's presence like a shadow in their marriage, a reminder of the temptation that could have destroyed them. Though Evelyn eventually moved on, Daniel never forgot how close he had come to losing everything. Some temptations linger in the background, waiting for a moment of weakness. But Daniel had learned his lesson. Some doors should never be opened, no matter how enticing they seem. Additional confrontations and fallout. In the months that followed, Daniel and Sophia worked to rebuild their trust. Therapy sessions, deep conversations, and time spent together helped them move forward, but the wounds ran deep. Evelyn attempted to reach out several times, sending messages filled with half-hearted apologies and twisted justifications for her behavior. Daniel refused to respond, but Sophia found herself conflicted. She's my mother, she would say, torn between love and betrayal. One final confrontation took place at a family gathering where Evelyn, appearing remorseful, tried to mend the rift. But Daniel saw through her act. He looked her in the eyes and said, "You almost destroyed my marriage. I won't let you back into our lives." And with that, Evelyn was finally forced to walk away. Some temptations never truly fade, but Daniel had ensured they would never control him again.